What if the most important thing about a piece of art was that it was totally, completely useless? It sounds crazy, right? Well, we're about to dive into the brilliantly subversive mind of Oscar Wilde, a man whose ideas about art and criticism still feel absolutely revolutionary today. All art is quite useless. Okay, so let's just start with this bombshell of a quote. It's from the preface to Oscar Wilde's only novel, and on the surface, it seems like he's trashing his entire life's work. So what on earth did he really mean by that? Let's dive in and find out. I mean, really think about it. Why would this master of language, this dazzling wit, claim that everything he created was useless? The answer, it turns out, completely reinvents the purpose of art. And maybe even more importantly, it reinvents the role of the person looking at it. You. So, to really get wild, you've got to picture the guy. He was the ultimate dandy, a man who basically turned his own life into a work of art. And the preface to his novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, wasn't just some polite introduction. Oh no, it was a manifesto, a declaration of war thrown right in the face of stuffy old Victorian England. Every single one of these points was a direct shot at the way things were. See, the Victorians thought art was supposed to be good for you, like medicine. It should be moral, it should teach you a lesson. And Wilde just comes along and says, nope, art's only job is to be beautiful. Books can't be moral or immoral. And most shocking of all, art isn't about mirroring life. It's about mirroring you, the person looking at it. So before Wilde could build up his new way of thinking, he first had to tear down the old one. Let's take a look at what the job of a critic was supposed to be back in the 19th century. And the voice of the establishment, the old guard, if you will, was this guy, Matthew Arnold. He was a huge deal, a massively influential critic. And for him, the task was crystal clear. A critic's job was to be objective and find the one true meaning hidden inside a work of art. Think of it kind of like a scientist with a butterfly pinned to a board. The critic was supposed to stand back, analyze the art without any personal feelings, and then deliver this final objective judgment on its quality and its message. The critic was a judge, not a part of the experience. And this is where Wilde launches his brilliant, beautiful rebellion and builds a completely new philosophy from the ground up. And this right here, this is the main event. Wilde just flips the entire table over. He argues that trying to see the object as it is totally impossible. All we can ever know is our own personal impression of it. And just like that, the critic's subjective feeling isn't a failure to be objective. It's the whole point of the entire game. And here it is, the ultimate mic drop. Wilde doesn't just say criticism is a secondary thing that just, talks about art. He claims it's an art form in its own right. And get this, maybe even the highest art form. Why? Because it's not tied down to copying reality. It's pure, unfiltered personal impression. And he's not just making this stuff up. He builds a logical case. First, he says you can't even be an artist without a critical faculty. You have to choose, select, and shape. Second, the act of interpreting something is itself deeply creative. And third, this is the big one. Criticism doesn't owe the art anything. It can exist for its own sake, as its own beautiful thing. So all of this thinking leads Wilde to this incredible vision of a new kind of intellectual hero, the critic who is completely and utterly free. Now, Wilde pulls out this very specific, kind of nerdy theological term, antinomian. It literally means against the law. He hijacks this word to describe his ideal critic, a rebel who is against all fixed systems, all moral rules, and any demand for a single, boring, correct truth. So for this new kind of critic, you're not loyal to one idea or one team or one ism. Nope. Your only real loyalty is to curiosity itself, to the free play of the mind. It's about exploring every single possibility without getting trapped by any of them. But here's the thing. For Wilde, this wasn't just some fun intellectual game. He genuinely believed that this kind of criticism had the power to literally shape the world we all live in. So check out what this kind of criticism actually does. It doesn't just judge art, it brings it to life. It's the thing that connects a painting from the Renaissance to our world today. For Wilde, it actually creates the entire intellectual atmosphere that allows new ideas to even be born. It's what helps us rise above our own biases and become more connected to the world. Which, of course, brings us all the way back to that puzzle we started with. After all this,
What could he possibly have meant when he said art is useless?
And here's the beautiful answer. For Wilde, useless was the highest compliment he could pay. It meant that art is free. It's free from the boring burden of having to be useful, like a hammer or a history textbook. Art's purpose isn't to do something, but simply to be, to just exist as something beautiful. And that's the gorgeous paradox at the heart of it all. The art itself just is. It exists in this state of perfect, beautiful uselessness. It is the critic, and that means every one of us, including you, who takes that beauty and gives it a voice, gives it meaning, and makes it a living, breathing part of our culture.
And that leaves us with one last pretty wild thought for our time. Wilde said the critic's job is to put art into a new relationship with the age we live in. So, what new relationships, what new meanings are we supposed to find for art, both human-made and machine-made, here in the age of AI? Now that is a question Oscar Wilde would have absolutely loved.